Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Premier League recap video, Premier League review video, whatever you want to call it. Well, there is a lot for us to discuss today. There's a lot for us to talk about. A lot of topics. Big up to every single one of you guys. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. If you are yet to do so, please do hit the like button to subscribe. Mods, do your thing as well. Already Warrior is on it. See, this is why Warrior, my favorite mod. On it directly. It doesn't wait. It doesn't wait. No waiting. You get me? Today's topics is Ten Hag's fraudulence. Is Enzo Maresca cooking? We're also going to be asking the question, are Manchester City rattled? I think they are, but we will be discussing that today. You get me? And we'll be kind of looking as well at the oh my God, they've changed this name 100 times. The Carabao Cup. There you are, the Carabao Cup, not the EFL Cup, not the Carling Cup, the Carabao Cup. Record holders, Liverpool Football Club. Let's go. Carabao Cup, Champions League, that's our competition. Anyway, joining us first and foremost today with a camera, the biggest troublemaker in the Arsenal fan base. No tears will be flowing today because I'm assuming he is proud of his team. Man like Daud is in the building. How are you doing, Daud, man?
Hello. Yep, I'm good. I'm not a troublemaker. I just speak the truth. I think when you speak honestly and you speak the truth, you're seen as a troublemaker.
Do you honestly believe you're not a troublemaker?
When you're dishonest, when you're a coward, when you lie.
Do you honestly believe that? Say Allah, you believe that. Say Allah.
When you lie, when you're a coward, you're seen as an honest person. And I think when I speak the truth, I said on the last stream, I said there's absolutely no way we're going to lose against Man City. So people said I was trolling. People said I was causing, trouble. And people in the comments were saying, if you can't beat Atalanta, how are you going to beat Man City? And
you know the ones that wanted me to come after you were who? Not even City fans, Inter Milan fans. We had Inter Milan fans watching. They're like, tell him to never disrespect Inter Milan again. You couldn't even beat Atalanta. So to be fair, you were 50%. You said City won't beat us. You were right on that. But Atalanta, you were wrong. You have to admit, you were wrong on that one. But yeah, it is what it is. Big up to you, Daud, man. Big up to you. Joining us next is everyone's favorite angry Greek. You get me? Ten Hag is making him, in a very angry state. But I do want to ask him genuinely his opinions on the game this Saturday, because I don't think the manager's at fault. I think the forward line is more at fault. But, you guys have seen him before on A-listers. You guys have seen him before on my channel 100 million times. One thing I will say about him is I don't like to admit people are better than me at anything. But I'll say this is the only guy better than me at football bingo. The only guy. And it's not that far off. 2% better, but every percent matters. Man, like Grigsy is in the building. How doing, Grigsy, man?
Doing good, bro. Good to be back. I know people probably, because I'm not on A-list yesterday. I'm here today. Obviously, Hassan knows like work and all that kind of stuff. But good to talk about football. Obviously, well, I'm not the main topic today. Obviously, we know what the main topic is. It's City, Arsenal.
Yes,
they've been fighting like little kids all over my timeline the past 48 hours. All over, bro. That's what I'm here to talk about. United hype, bro. I told people this, bro. United hype. I like talking about United. I want to talk about everything else. I want to talk about the last month or so we've had the Barclays men shit trending all over the social medias, and this past weekend we probably had a Barclays men match in the City.
This is true. So this is true.
So it's good that finally.
You know who I think is the most Barclays man of all time?
Who?
Morten Gamst Pedersen. That's my answer.
I saw a comment on him on my TikTok earlier this morning.
Bro, that guy's left foot was a cannon. Yeah, I'll be so honest with you. Morten Gamst Pedersen is my guy. Blackburn days, you get me, blonde hair, has his hair out like this, and it's just he was cooking. There's a player for Chelsea as well, funnily enough. He was Danish. He scored the goal that made Abramovich buy Chelsea against us. Jesper Kronkjær. That's another Barclays man. Listen, Barclays man, I could sit here forever and I can mention. I could go on and on and on with Barclays man. Tell us in the chat your favorite Barclays man as well. I saw the tweets. Some people just ruined it. Like City fans wanted to get involved. They're like, oh, Rodri's a Barclays man. I'm like, bro, shut the hell up. Anyway. They just don't get the concept. But to be fair, when it was Barclays era, City were crap anyway. Speaking of City, everyone's second favorite ginger fraud. I'm not going to be a hypocrite because my favorite ginger fraud is LB. The power rankings, he's in second place. But I love him regardless. He's one of my favorite content creators to work with when he's available because he's a celebrity now. They don't call him L Nobbins anymore. They call him W Nobbins. Man like Nobbins is in the building. How you doing, Nobbins, man?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Well, I was until I saw your face, and now here we are. So,
wow.
I mean, crazy.
That's why you're number 2 in the rankings.
I was doing some work, and now I've got to come here and talk about football with you and your smug little face. So, we'll see what we do. I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on as always, of course. Love you.
What a name. Ebanks, like, you know. If you know, you know. Let's go. And speaking of Barclays, man, this guy lived through the Barclays era, the Premier League era, the English era. You get me? He's been watching football since 1960. So it's always good to bring on an older folk, to help us, in terms of speaking about football and the truth about the sport. Joining us on the channel is the man, the myth, the legend. The man, the myth, not the legend. Man like Andrew's in the building. How do you, Andrew?
No, you said it. It's clipped now. Someone's going to clip it. You said legend. Script. Can't take it back.
Is that a green screen?
No. It's not. It's not green screen. No. I'm not a fancy good YouTuber like you, Sam. Do you know what I mean? I'm not with your. No. Your watch-alongs are green screen. Don't try it. Do you know what I mean? Your watch-alongs are green screen. But
I'm sorry for upgrading.
No. I know. I'm paying you a compliment. I said you're a good. You're a legendary YouTuber now. Do you know what I mean? It's all good. You're leading the way. But yeah, I'm all good. Let's talk some footy like we always do. Let's talk some more. Like and subscribe.
I have to do quick reorganization because Grigs can't be top row. I'll be honest with you. And speaking of upgrading, the Premier League studio, you get me? Welcome to the Premier League studio. Yes. Big up to my guy, Jack. Big up, Jack Lad, who says, like the video. Now, people, Slot is better than Farteta. Big up to you, Jack. Listen, early days. 5 games into the season. Hold your horses, brother. You got me? Let's all take a chill pill. But I'm here for it. Slot prop. I'm happy. Big up to you, Jack. Big up to Hamad, who says, the way Arsenal banter almost completely buried Man City crimes on football instead of pointing out how much Haaland and his mates were rattled. It's seen as Arsenal players being dunked on. Crazy. Hamad, by the way, guys, Hamad is a complete neutral. He only supports a Qatari club. He doesn't support a single Premier League club. He just watches for the love of the game. And I completely agree with Hamad. And this is the topic that I wanted us to start with. Guys, let's get the likes up. All that good stuff. Mods keep pushing. And I want to go to Daud first. Because the question today is, who's truly rattled? Are Arsenal rattled or a Manchester City rattled? Whether it be the players, the managers, the fans. Where do you go with all this, Because it's kind of like everything that's happening after the game with everyone talking and stuff like that is even more than the drama in the game, Daud.
Yeah, I think it's after the game, I can't say that Arsenal players were rattled. I think Arsenal players actually enjoyed the situation. They enjoyed the occasion and they, thrived about, they thrived about the situation. And I think the people that were actually rattled mainly were rival fans and the media after the game on Sunday, especially on Monday when they're talking about couldn't Arsenal go for it? Were they too defensive? Were they time wasting too much? The dark art, calling Mikel Arteta the new Tony Pulis. All of these things that were suggested at Arsenal for having a masterclass defensive display, which has never been seen before. 10 men for 45 minutes against the best team ever, in my eyes, this Man City team. We restricted them. We restricted them to long-range shots. And I can't remember them having a clear-cut chance in that whole second half. And I think the goal that they scored was, a chance that was very clever from Grealish, but it took 2 or 3 deflections, and then it came to John Stones to bury it, and David Raya nearly saved that as well. So we restricted Man City to basically nothing the whole second half. And I think even before the second half started, even the pundits were like, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher were talking about why isn't Arsenal playing a striker up top? Why are they moving to a back 5 with no striker? This is too different. They're going to concede. And when we didn't concede until the last second of the game, I give credit to Mikel Arteta because for me, he's mastered the two things you have to do in football. He knows how to defend now, He knows how to make his team defend, and he knows how to make his team attack. And I think Mikel Arteta now, he's got a complete package as a manager, because you can play them at home and where they can attack you and not give you a second to breathe, and then go away to the top teams and they'll restrict you to minimum chances. And I think our last 12 games against the top 6, we haven't lost. So we haven't lost in over a year to a top 6 team away from home. And that you have to give credit to Mikel Arteta for that. And I think the way the Man City players were at full time, they were very rattled. Haaland, Bernardo Silva talking about, I enjoy playing against Liverpool compared to the Arsenal team. Liverpool won the league compared to Arsenal. And I think what did you expect from Arsenal? Did you expect them to play, open football? Did you expect them to play expansive football with 10 men? And I think, players like Bernardo Silva, they need to be humble. Erling Haaland needs to be humble, because, the way we're playing, there's not one way of playing football. Playing expansive attacking football is not the only way of playing football. Okay, sometimes you have to play defensive, and I think especially with Chelsea fans was the ones that were actually backing us, because they were saying we can't go at Arsenal, because for years we were bigging up Jose Mourinho for playing this dark arts, low block, and that won them trophies. So if we want to play like that, if we want to switch the way we're playing, and we're not used to this as Arsenal fans, we're used to playing expansive football, matching teams, and actually getting hammered. Now that we're playing dark arts and we're playing low block, I'm loving it. And I think this manager, Mikel Arteta, is making me happy. He's with the players that we've got injured now and the fixtures that we've got coming up, I think it's all positive now.
So I don't listen. When it comes to Chelsea fans like not having a problem with it, I think I think we find it ironic after getting battered for 15 years from Arsenal fans about like the way we played, that now you are embracing it. We just find it irony. We just find it ironic. I agree with you. There's no one way of playing football. I keep saying this. When you win the Champions League, it doesn't say how you played. It just says that you won. It's the same with the Premier League, okay? It just says that. When I thought it was that, I thought when you went down to 10 men, I thought on Sunday, right? I thought that actually played more into your hands, because you just had to sit back. It was more on City that had to attack. And when I'm seeing Akanji and Ruben Diaz have most passes in the game, then that's not on Arsenal, that's on Man City to break them down. The way they used Bernardo Silva out in the wing when you already have Savinho out there, I didn't understand. Why not have Bernardo Silva more centrally so he can take one of the pot shots and stuff like that? I thought it was a good performance given the circumstances. You actually took the game to them and took the lead. I can't remember the last time anyone's really done that. I think City are a little rattled. I've not, even against your mob.
Thank you for admitting it as a Chelsea fan.
Even against your mob, Sam, I can't remember, apart from the Bernardo Silva trash talking, I can't remember it being really like that. Do you know what I mean? I can't remember like Erling Haaland or any City player throwing the ball at someone's head, at the end of the game, or when they were squaring up, or even like rushing into like the challenges, like and stuff like that. I think they were more rattled because they had 45 minutes against 10 men, and they couldn't really. I know they
hold that thought here, because this is the question from Rohan. He's saying, is it actually double jeopardy if you book a player for wasting time and then add that same exact time as additional time?
The thing that I don't get with, like, can anyone tell me right now on the panel, was kicking the ball away a big issue last season? Was it something that we were complaining about? Was it something that was trending?
No, I don't remember anything happening last season.
I can't remember ever fans complaining about he's kicking that ball away, he's wasting. This is something that the PFA, not PFA, the whoever do it, PGMOL or whatever it is, they're the ones that have now invented something that have got into players' heads. They've created a situation now where they have to book every player for kicking the ball. It doesn't matter if it's half a centimeter, doesn't matter if it's 20 yards. Anytime a player touches the ball, they have to book them now. So they've created a situation now where now every player now is stitching up other players. So you could see at the first half when Doku kicked it away, all the Arsenal players were pointing at the referee. Are you not going to book him? So it's a situation now where.
Do you know what it used to be though? It didn't even.
That was never there.
But it didn't even need to. Even just a few seasons ago, it was more that people were trying to get someone booked when the player was trying to stop you taking a quick free kick. That was more the booking than actually kicking it away. I just think,
yeah.
You know, do you know what I mean? It was like you would get them booked, but that seems to have stopped now. Even when someone tries to do it, the referees don't seem to be doing that, which I like, because I think that's just it. I just think it's just severely heightened. I would if it wasn't an Arsenal, City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, I'm not going to say Spurs. If it wasn't one of them 5 teams, then I don't think it gets highlighted that much. Do you know what I mean? Like, for instance, the game at the weekend, Brighton and Forest. I don't know how. I'm sorry, that yellow card, second yellow card for Gibbs wasn't a second yellow card for me. That was a great tackle, but no one's bringing up that. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's just, if that was happening between Wolves and Southampton, no one would care. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just ironic that it happened to you literally. We're not talking 3 months ago. It happened to you literally 2 weeks ago. So it was like, you would have thought, Arteta, don't drill into your players. Don't kick the ball away. Whatever you do, just try not to kick the ball away, especially if you're on a yellow card.
It's easy saying it, but a player here at the moment, and I know the referee has to book him because of the law, but I'm talking about from when he kicked it to when the referee blew the whistle, it was 0.8 seconds. It wasn't even a second before the ref. So I think he's going through the emotions of how, how the game was. It was a very, heated game. There was a lot of things happening. So when he kicked the ball, it was less than a second where some people, like, we've all played football. You do something in an instant where you're not thinking. It's easy saying when you're sat at home watching the TV, he needs to calm down and not kick the ball away. It's less than a second. These players, it was going to take them a long, long time to get these habits out of the way. If you've been doing the same thing for 10 years and you say to them instantly, you have to change it, it's impossible. So I think it just, someone said in the comments, it's natural reaction. It's literally just natural reaction. And the referee needs to understand this. If it's less than a second, then for me, it ruined the situation. It ruined the spectacle of the viewing fans, because that first half was one of the best first halves we've had this season. And I think after that second yellow card, and when it went to 10v11, we all knew second half was going to be Arsenal sitting back, City trying to go for the winner. So I think, it ruins it for viewing fans, and these referees, they need to stop making it about them. And I think they need to understand these kind of situations. And I think, it would have been so much better. I don't care with Arsenal. If it was Liverpool versus Man City, I want it 11v11. Okay, I don't want petty yellow cards. I don't want these referees making it about them, where, all of these situations, kicking the ball away 2 yards, 5 yards, it just ruins the spectacle. And I think, we got a point from it. And I think second half, if it was 11v11, we could have really seen how Arsenal would have played 11v11, 2-1 up, because we haven't been 2-1 up against Man City away from home in over 10 years. So I want to see how we're going to play 11v11. Obviously now we can't see that, and obviously the referees, they've put themselves in a situation where they have to do it every game now.
Nobbins,
it'll be interesting.
Yes, City fan. Who's on mute?
Sorry, my internet died. It literally caught fire. I had to go get a spare. Apologies. Yes, I don't know really what's been said. To be fair, what was the question? What are my thoughts on the game?
Who do you think is more rattled?
Do you think City are rattled?
Man City, Arsenal.
Rattled. How are we defining rattled?
Did you expect that response at the end of the game from your team, I suppose?
From Haaland, from Bernardo Silva?
I think that rightly or wrongly, I think what that reaction tells us is that lots of these City players don't see Arsenal as an equal, and that they see Arsenal players as inferior. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that one assumes that's why, you've got Bernardo Silva coming out talking about, how basically saying how, Liverpool are a better rival than you, essentially. I'm not here to say whether that's right or wrong. I don't really agree with with that. But that's clearly the reaction, isn't it? Because if City did respect them, there's no way that Haaland would be, telling the other manager, stay humble, would he? Like that's just like the epitome of disrespect. And I think that maybe Arsenal won't. I mean, Arsenal. If I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't really care about that. But I guess, again, from that perspective, City players won't give them that respect until they win until they beat them to a Premier League title. Maybe that's their thinking. Again, if you listen to the interviews, again, not saying I agree with them, but the fact that they bring up Liverpool and the fact that they bring up the fact that they won a Champions League, they won a Premier League, they clearly viewed them as a more, quote, worthy adversary, or whatever you want to say. I don't think that's fair, but that's obviously how they feel, especially Haaland, who's literally going, who are you? Stay humble, etc., etc. I guess it's good though. Like, if City players are annoyed, and why wouldn't you be annoyed following a second half where again you feel like like the other team are time wasting, etc., etc., and it's obviously a very emotional time. I think it's good. I think that hopefully from a City
Are you one of the City fans that's upset that or annoyed that Arsenal played defensive football, or are you aware that that's what they had to do?
Yeah, of course they had to do that. Yeah, I don't expect Arsenal to come out in a 4-3-2 formation and just try to take the game to City. I think you can have conversations about degrees of a defense. So you could say maybe they could have had one man out, but obviously they didn't want to do that, and they're well within their rights to play how they want to play. I think from my perspective, the only thing that the Arsenal fans can't really be in terms of the approach, where they can't really have any complaints, I don't know if we've discussed it, is the fact that there was lots of time wasting. And again, that's well within their right to do that. I'm not saying it's an issue, but that is how the goal was scored. It was scored in extra time. That would be the only thing I would say on that, is that you're obviously entitled to play how you want, but if you do that, then there are obviously consequences. One of those being there will be a significant amount of added time on, and that's obviously how.
Plus, you know what people don't read when it comes to injury time. They don't understand. It's a minimum of whatever the injury time is. It's a minimum. They wanted to play an extra 3 or 4 minutes. It's a minimum. It's up to the referee. It's a minimum of the 7 minutes, not a maximum. Minimum of the 7 minutes. So if you're, and I think didn't Timber go down? Didn't Timber was it right at the start, or just when injury time happened?
Timber was down up until 91:30. Yes.
So you got to add that on as well. So it's injury time. So I have no problem with that going forward. You got to play to. It's the old adage. You got to play to the whistle. Do you know what I mean? You've got to play till when the time ends. It's not NFL or NBA when the time stops, when play stops. You just have to play to the end.
And again, Arsenal are totally fine to do that. And I don't really get because certain fans saying, "Oh yeah, you should have come out and attacked us," and obviously that makes no sense. Why would you do that? You're just going to get battered if you do that.
Yeah.
Arsenal took a risk. They thought, we're just going to play totally defensively, and it very nearly worked in terms of they very nearly didn't concede a goal in that second half. Obviously, that they ultimately did. I don't have an issue with how they played. Makes sense.
The one thing that I want to understand is that rival fans that are complaining about time wasting is very, very funny, because Sky Sports after the game said that Opta showed that the ball was in play the longest out of any Premier League game this season.
That's because City had the ball for 85% of the time.
No, but when people are saying the reason why it was 7 added minutes, because the ball wasn't in play for that long. And I'm thinking, if it was in play for that long, if it's 7 minutes, where did that 7 minutes come from? Because
I can tell you if you'd like.
Every time the ball went out for a throwing, which was basically your throwing, you throw it straight away. You had every corner, you had every single throwing.
Sure.
So that time wasting, that 7 added minutes, you're telling me that the players that sat down accumulated to 7 minutes.
I can tell you if you'd like. 4.5 minutes can be put towards Arsenal players sitting down. I've watched the second half back. I've got timestamps. 4.5 minutes was what was delayed from 45 to 90. Okay? And that's just Arsenal players being on the floor. That does not include substitutions, of which there were many. That does not include Declan Rice literally being booked for time wasting. Okay, that is also
an extra 5 seconds on the ball.
Well, if you'll let me finish, that also doesn't include the fact that, in general, the Premier League rules state as follows: if a goalkeeper picks up the ball, how many seconds do they have formally, officially, to release it?
About 6-7 seconds.
Right. Okay. Raya was averaging over 20. For goal kick,
I heard it was about 14 seconds. 14 seconds. I don't know about 20 seconds.
Nobbins had the stopwatch out.
For goal, no, literally, yes. For goal kicks, it was over 30 seconds. Now, I don't know how many goal kicks Arsenal had. If someone would like to tell me that in the chat or someone here, that'd be great. I imagine it was over 10.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
So surely you can reconcile and appreciate where that additional 2.5 minutes came from, because we're hopefully accepting that you've got to add on at least 4.5 minutes for the players falling down, feigning injury, or actually being injured, in fairness. Surely we can agree on that. Surely then we can agree on at least an additional 30 seconds for Rice literally time wasting and being booked for time wasting. Okay? So all we need to do is find 2 further minutes, of which we can account for.
Wasn't there a bit?
Wasn't
there a bit when
the ball was in play for 35 minutes, right? In the second half. So that does leave 10 minutes where the ball was not in play. So the ref isn't allowed to, there you go. That could be part where 7 minutes.
No, but if you're going with that theory, yeah.
No, I'm not saying that's not how it was.
How many minutes is reasonable, Daud? How many minutes is reasonable?
But if you had Nobbins' thing as well, so in those 10 minutes, you wasted time a lot. So therefore, the ref is going to give.
No, because you have to look at situations where the ball was out of play. Say that again.
How many minutes do you think was fair if 7 wasn't?
No. 7 minutes. No. I didn't say the 7 minutes was not right. I'm just saying, can you explain to me where the 7 minutes came from? And
okay, I have.
Yeah, but Nobbins explain. Here's the thing. I think arguing over the 7 minutes is not the legitimate argument for me.
It's not.
I think your original argument, which is the referee ruined the game, I agree with. I think there was a serious lack of consistency in the same exact game. I don't want to do this whole kumbaya of us talking about the Premier League in general and in this game that happened, and forget that. I'm not talking about other games of football. I'm talking within the same exact game. I've already mentioned the stuff that I think, Doku not getting a yellow card for kicking the ball away. Gabriel and Haaland incident. Haaland could have easily gotten a yellow card. Bernardo Silva, the little rat who should never compliment my club ever again because I can't stand that little rat. You didn't even clap for me in a guard of honor. You're out here giving, fucking speeches about which game was more difficult. And I want to call out people's hypocrisy. When we were losing to Manchester City at the Etihad, no one said, "Oh my God, Liverpool played beautiful football, so it's okay that they lost." You guys are a bunch of hypocrites, I swear to God. Stop lying. Stop selling the whole world dreams. Football is a results-based business. I don't care how you play. It's all about the results. Liverpool Football Club currently, you want to know something? We play way more boring football than we did under Jurgen Klopp. If we get the results, no one gives shit. Not a single shit is given. At the end of the day, I hate the change of energy. I'll tell you why. Let's reverse the roles a little bit. Arsenal are 2-1 down at the Emirates. City have 10 men. City park the bus for 45 minutes. If Arsenal don't win that game 3-2, we're sat here giving 1-hour monologue speeches about Arsenal's mentality and lack of mentality and the fact that they can't do this and the fact that they can't do that and blah, 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 blah. Manchester City, by the way, even when I was doing a watch along, people in my comment section were like, yo, Arsenal are down to 10 men. City are going to score 3 or 4 here. City are going to cook Arsenal, blah, 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 blah. Yes, we understand they park the bus. But City play against low blocks every week. This is their bread and butter. This is what their team literally cooks low blocks week in, week out. So for me, I'm expecting more energy to be shown towards Manchester City. How come didn't you break Arsenal down? And in terms of the referee, it's just the lack of consistency. As I said, forget the fact, let's assume for the sake of argument that Trossard second yellow is a yellow and there's no need to debate it and blah, blah, blah. The rest of the things I have a problem with because there are yellow cards for dissent that were not given. There are yellow cards for kicking the ball away that were not given. The same energy was not shown. And that's just the problem. So, yes, 10,000 people watched my City Arsenal one, mate. Nice try, though. Big up to my guy. Let me just do it. City players acting like Trump. We got banned on X. I'll be honest with you, Haaland and Bernardo Silva's reactions. It's just Sad. It's just sad. It is what it is. Big up to you, Queen of Boston. I'd assume Boston because of the USD. But before we just carry on, big up to the Football Terrace. Big up to Terry for the raid. We've got 800 people watching us. Guys, please hit the like button. Hit the like button, you frauds. We are at 115 likes. Nobbins, I swear, we actually are at 115 likes. We have 800 people watching us. Only 115 likes. Let's get to 200 likes ASAP. So please hit the like button, subscribe, and all the mods push the likes. Big up to Hamad, Jack, Rohan, and the Queen of Boston for the super chats. Big up to you guys for supporting the channel. Like, share, subscribe. Grigs, you wanted to say something? I haven't said anything yet on the City stuff. Tell me.
First of all, I do think City are a little bit more rattled based on the definition of rattled being unusual reactions. They did look a little bit more angry. I'm not mad at Haaland doing the way he did because Haaland has gotten the tag of being soft the past 12 months, and it's good to see a player of his like he's 6'5", he looks like a giant, and he's played soft the past 12 months, getting bullied by the likes of Rudiger, Saliba, and Gabriel last year. The way that they were shoving him around this year, it looks like he's physicaled up. He's acting more his height and stuff like that. So I'm not mad at it. I agree with him about Bernardo Silva. I absolutely hate that guy. I never liked Bernardo. I'm not going to use the word, but similar word to that Hassan used. I don't like him. And I don't like when other teams – I hated this about Jurgen Klopp too. I always criticize Jurgen Klopp when he said this. Never try to dictate how other teams play. Every team's allowed to play the way that they want to play if it's if it gives them the best possible chance to win. Winter Surfer, he mentioned the Camp Nou 2012 performance. When they parked the bus, they had the Jose famous low block against Inter against Barcelona is one of the most famous talked about tactical performances of all time.
That wasn't just a low block, that was a low train right there.
Exactly. No, and there's no issue to do what you do. And I respect Mikel Arteta for doing what he did because Arsenal of old, especially under Arsene Wenger, would have just laid down and conceded 4 goals trying to play the pretty football. And Arteta's kind of brought that physicality back to Arsenal, and he should be appreciated. Which is why people call him Mikel Pulis or Mikel Moyes because David Moyes was his former manager, and that's something David Moyes would do. So I appreciate Mikel Arteta for doing that. And I agree with Arsenal fans in terms of that. But also, Arsenal fans have, for the past decade, have also criticized other teams for the way that they play, and they play boring football while we play all the pretty football, all that kind of stuff. So I get why opposition fans are also rattled towards them. As for Trossard, he should have gotten sent off because the ref warned him multiple times that you're treading on a thin line. The foul that he did was a yellow card, and then he just blasted the ball across the pitch. And none of that BS where he's like, he was aiming for Martinelli, who was on the counter. You're not blasting the ball like that, trying to hit a person on the counter. He was reckless. It was the last minute of stoppage time in the first half. As a veteran player, you have to be a lot more careful than that. And again, that's high tensions. The ref, he can only control the game for so long because Kai Havertz probably should have gotten a yellow within 3 seconds of the game. Haaland, which is the reason why probably Haaland didn't get carded because you can't not card Havertz and then card Haaland for similar physical challenges, even though I think Haaland was a little bit better.
Those two are completely different. Those two.
Yeah, I thought Havertz. The fact, by the way, Kai Havertz is very lucky that he didn't even get sent off because to do that kind of challenge within 3 seconds, you're not trying to do no little foul. You're trying to show a statement, which is foul Rodri, and you could even say that Arsenal partly targeted Rodri early on in the game. There is evidence to show that you kind of did that, which is it is what it is. You have your own dark arts, and I have always appreciated dark arts in football. Football is meant to be played in different ways. That's why it's the most beautiful game. That's why it's the world sport. Not everyone wants to play the same way. But yeah, I just thought it was a good performance.
Well, we can't expect Arsenal to attack anyway with 10 men. That's
absolutely not, bro. I'm Greek. My only relevance in this sport is producing one of the greatest low blocks for a string of 3 games that everyone hated, but it won me the Euros. I love a good low block. It's absolutely amazing. Fergie used to pull up to the Emirates, play with a low block, and just hit them on the counter, and we'd win, and it would just be a performance of champions. And the thing I say about a low block is, I honestly, the fact that when Arsenal went down to 10 men and everyone knew Arteta would be defensive, I actually favored Arsenal a little bit because now you have arguably what's the best defense in the world, statistically. Now their only job is to defend. They're going to play a nasty low block. It's very difficult to break that down. Some people, against a top team, I'd say, when a top team goes down to 10 men, I think it's even harder to break them down than it is with 11 men because now you have a group of defenders that are special, one of the highest levels of defenders in the world. If they're that good when they're defending with that much space, imagine when they don't have to, when everyone's more compact, it's going to be 10 times more difficult to break them down. So it's special. It's a special attribute to Arteta for the defense that he's built at Arsenal and changed the whole narrative around them. And now we'll see because a lot of people saying the pressure for me now is a lot of Arsenal too, not just City, because City obviously lost Rodri. I know we're going to talk about that, but now City have arguably lost their most important player, the guy that last year we called Rodri Pep's most important player because he couldn't win without him. So now, go win that title. You have that mentality as well. You just drew to the champions with 10 men. You now have all that momentum. When they come to Emirates, it's gonna be it's probably the most anticipated.
That game is gonna be a bloodbath.
That game's gonna be a bloodbath. You guys have beat Holland's gonna be up for it. Your players are gonna be up for it.
Grigs, can I give you a conspiracy? I think they're gonna let City draw Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, even before that happens at the Emirates. It's gonna.
I want to see a Champions League matchup between the two. That's what I want to see. I want to see 2 more legs of this. In the Champions League. In a competition where Arsenal don't have the heritage, in the Premier League is different. Obviously, they're great. They're one of the greatest Premier League teams of all time. In the Champions Leagues, where maybe the pressure is a little bit too much for them, they're in a competition they typically struggle in for a lot of times. While City obviously are growing their heritage in the competition, I want to see. And then in a competition where defense is even more advocated for, because it's a cup competition, you're expected to be a little bit more compact. I want to see what it looks like, because I want to give credit to Arteta, because it was a tactical masterclass. He assembled. From the first half, they did good. The set pieces, whoever the set piece coach, by the way, I still don't know his name. I'm not even joking. It might be the greatest set piece coach of all time. I don't know what his name is. He needs to get paid Saliba's wages, Gabriel wages, whatever those wages are, he needs to get them. And second of all, Kyle Walker is also the definition of wash. It's even a disgrace to soap and water.
He was that last season, to be fair.
He is horrible. This guy was trying to tickle Gabriel in the box, and then he just let him.
He's doing this to his chest for no reason. He's doing this.
I don't know if you guys watch NFL, but he's a little cornerback trying to do little jabs.
He's playing tag with him. It's just
guy's a
you said about...
I just want to respond to one thing Greg says. Griggs, I agree with 99% of what you said except this, and I agree with Jason. I'll be honest with you, I don't think Arsenal were targeting Rodri. I watched that back. I watched the back the start because Carefree Lewis is a fraud, and I work with him. So I knew he was going to bring it up. And I watched that back. Havertz is just running normally. And Rodri's just stood there trying to do an NBA screen. He's just stood there like that. And Havertz just running normally. Rodri, the natural reaction is I'm running. The player is either going to run with me or get out of the way. And Rodri's just stood there like that, like a lieutenant. You know, like a screen, like he's setting a screen for his point guard to take a 3-pointer or something. It just made no sense. So I don't think they targeted Rodri. I really do not believe they targeted Rodri.
I said you can make a case. I didn't say they were. I said that you can make a case they were. Like
but I really make a case.
Real time with the amount of fouls that were on Rodri, like in the first 5 minutes, you can make a case that it felt like they were trying to not injure him. I'm not saying they were trying to injure him, but they were trying to like make sure that he would not be comfortable in the game, which is fine. You do that as a team. You focus on the opposition's most important player, and Haaland is obviously City's best player in terms of the attributes and stuff like that, but Rodri is a tempo setter, especially with no KDB in that midfield.
Rodri deserves to win Ballon d'Or. Rodri is the most important player in the Premier League. Rodri is the best player in the Premier League. However, just because City have no backup striker, it's worse for them if they lose Haaland. That's the only thing.
I agree.
If Alvarez was there, 100% Rodri for me is a lot more important. Like, look what I said about Rodri. If you tell me right now, Rodri Ballon d'Or winner, I'd be like, deserved. He deserves to win it. So I'm not talking about something that I'm not minimizing Rodri. I'm simply saying, let's look at the bench. Okay? Kovacic can do a role. Hell, even Bernardo Silva did a role there 2 years ago. Gundogan can do a role. Not as good as Rodri, nowhere near. But who can do what Erling Haaland is doing, even 1%? Who? Savio, Grealish, Foden? It's not going to work. That's.
I think they can get rid. I think they can get through at least 85% of the rest of 90% of the rest of the matches without Rodri. Overall, do you know what I mean? Just going back, 2 things. These people going like, well, why didn't Arsenal attack? If they'd attacked and was 4-2, you'd be then going, why didn't they defend? So they can't win. They could, and second of all, the tactic they have at set pieces, that's all good and everything. But why am I seeing the shortest players mark opposition's tallest players in the box? Why am I seeing that? It's so. Why am I seeing that? Why wasn't Diaz or Akanji marking Gabriel all game? Yeah. That's a simple tactic that stops their amazing corner routine. I see Enzo Fernandez marking teams' tallest players at corners for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. Have your best defensive headers on their best attacking headers, and it's just all sorted
zonal,
like that.
It's zonal mark. It's because of zonal mark.
I cursed
did zonal marking 15 years ago, and people.
I cursed two people. Whoever came up with zonal marking, and whoever scouted Kepa for my club. Those are the two people I cursed the most in life. Okay, in football terms, zonal marking is a disgrace. It's
Kepa
rubbish.
plays for Brentford now. Let it go, or whoever the hell he plays for.
Bournemouth. You just played him 2 years ago, bro.
Yeah, he allowed Darwin Núñez to score. That's what happened.
You literally employ Mudrik. Let's not go there. Nobbins, there's a question for you as well. You know, because I know you want to talk about because there is a lot for you to unpack as the City fan. But we'll add one more topic for you to unpack, which is what Nilotfal's talking about, which is one thing I respect about the likes of Nobbins and LB, and even Martin did this. Shout out to them. Is it's not a matter of Pep won 4 in a row, so I can't criticize him based on a 90-minute basis. Pep and every person on this planet is not immune to criticism. That's just the reality of the situation. So this is the question for you. Big up to you, Nilotfal, by the way. Now you're back to your senses instead of calling me an Arsenal fan. What do you make of the Pep substitutions and everything we kind of said about City, Nobbins?
Yes. I've been thinking about this. Detailed thoughts will be in my analysis video releasing later today. I'll go check it out later. But
cheeky plug.
Yeah, so but
Nobbins is in the description. Go subscribe.
It is hard to rationalize what, because my first thought was when the Trossard read. I think Grigs mentioned it. That actually sort of, I was like, oh god, they're going to be like truly just like the definition of defense now. This is going to be worse if anything for us. At least if like there's 11 men, maybe they'll sometimes try to come out a little bit, as it was obviously wasn't the case. So it just seems so obvious that from half time, Foden must come on, for example, because one of the best ways that you can deal with a low block when you know for a fact the defense are just going to sit back is you need to be able to exploit the fact that they're going to give space on the edge of the box for distance shooters. Now, we had no De Bruyne, who is our best one. We had no Rodri, who is also one of our best ones. And Foden wasn't on the pitch. So the only one on the pitch who I'd consider a borderline specialist is Gvardiol. And even then, we're clutching at straws there because he's a centre-back. You know, he's got a very good shot in him, but, you know, he's not a Foden or a Kevin, etc. So I agree. I don't really know what the thought process was. All I can really think of is that Pep was adamant on the idea that cause and force deflections and win second balls in the box. That's all I can think of, because I can't think of any other rational reason as to why you would have Kovacic stationed and, you know, Walker, Diaz, Akanji stationed on the outside of the box, but then you've got Gvardiol inside it. Even when Foden came on in the 70th minute, if you look at the positioning of Foden, he's in the box. And that's not because he's doing it for a laugh. It's because Pep's told him to go there. It wasn't until like the 90th minute where he told Kovacic and Foden, you guys swap round. And then it was Foden on the edge and Kovacic in the middle. So again, all I can really think of is maybe Pep wanted a deflection from a shot, which then falls to a player who you want to be taking that shot, i.e. Foden or Gvardiol. And it did happen twice in that second half. It was a shot in one instance and then a low cross in another. Partey wasn't able to deal with it. Second ball, Gvardiol shot, forces Raya into 2 decent saves. That is all I can think of in terms of why Pep did that in terms of his substitutions. And in fairness, that is how the goal was scored. People might view that in isolation and go, oh, fortunate deflection. But the reality is, if you're taking 30 shots in a game and all of them are, you know, where like the defense is stationed so deep, chances are at least one of them is going to fall fortuitously to a City player, and it took until the 97th minute for that to happen properly. But that's all I can really think of, to be honest. That's my theory.
So you do agree the substitutions were a bit late and stuff like that?
No, it wasn't a bit late. It was ridiculous. Foden should have come on. Foden should have come on at half time. What I would have liked to have seen is something like, you know, literally take off Diaz and bring on Foden, because Arsenal are never going to actually. We all knew. I didn't need to see any of that second half to know how Arsenal were going to play, and it's not a dig. They're well within their right to do that. We all knew what was going to happen. So. That should have been the change. And then you've got the best of both worlds. You've got the small space players in the box to pick up deflections. You've also got long shot specialists outside the box. It's a more attacking move. It's risky, but you might as well go for it because you know exactly where you're going to be up against for 45 minutes. So,
risky business is good business against 10 men. At least try it, you know? So I do agree. I'm so glad Nobbins answered that way. And big up to you, because listen, Pep is one of the greatest managers ever, but I have no idea why he took forever to make those substitutions. Like,
and then again, like, even when he made the subs, he's putting his players in the wrong place. Like, people will go, oh, why isn't Foden standing there? If a player comes on with 20 minutes left and Guardiola tells him to stand in a certain area, do you think that Foden starts the next game if he disobeys him? No, of course he doesn't. The onus is on the manager. In this, again, Gvardiol was almost like a second striker. You shouldn't be blaming Gvardiol. Going, why isn't he outside the box? Pep's told him to go there. The only person if you're blaming anyone for that exchange, the only person you can blame is Pep. And yeah, he's obviously the best manager in the world, whatever. But I think he made a lot of mistakes last year with the Alvarez experiment and not playing Foden in midfield enough, etc., etc. He's not infallible, and no one is.
Well said.
Daud, what are you saying on this game?
I was pretty happy that they didn't put Grealish or Foden on as early as they would have, and I think one thing.
I thought they'd come on at halftime. I'm not even gonna lie. I literally thought halftime they're gonna bring both on, but
it had to happen.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I saw Man City not making any changes, I thought Pep Guardiola must really trust his players, and probably would have thought Arsenal might get up the pitch a little bit more, and Doku and Gundogan and Haaland could actually, get in behind and do something. So, and I think after a while, he probably would have thought, Arsenal are going to go for it. They're not going to actually push players up. And I think, Pep Guardiola, he does that sometimes. I think he just overthinks too much. And I think, but that's what makes him a genius. And I think, I was happy that I didn't put Grealish, because as soon as Grealish came on, he actually did make a big difference, because he was the one that was actually attacking Ben White and that attacking Timber on that left-hand side, which Doku really wasn't. And I think Grealish has been a player that we have struggled against quite a few seasons. I remember him coming to the Emirates and actually causing havoc and scoring that goal and making that assist. So, Grealish is a very, tough player that we have played against. But, I'm very, very happy with the...
And Daud, I have a question for you now, because this is the final topic I want to ask the guys about the Arsenal City thing before we head into other topics. First of all, big up everyone on the chat. 820 people watching us, guys. Hit the like button. We have it 200 likes. Next target 300. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Big up to BM and Ricky. I'm gonna come to your super chats in a second, but just hit the like button and subscribe, because we do have to ask a question about Rodri. Obviously, we wish Rodri a speedy recovery. We're not the type of people that laugh at injuries or any of that type of stuff. But how does Rodri being out, Daud, affect your chances in terms of winning the league, or affect our chances or City's chances? Do you see Rodri's being... By the way, it's been confirmed it's an ACL, right?
Yeah, he's out the whole season. Yeah,
he's going to the magic doctor in Barcelona. That fuck guy. That's all I'm gonna say.
But you know what this reminds me of? It genuinely reminds me of the same exact Van Dijk situation. When the Pickford stuff happened, he walked off the pitch, and I'm like, he'd probably be back like in a month, 2 months or something. And then he was out to the end of the year. So
what do you think? What do you say? It's he's walking. It's not ligaments. That's how.
I swear, I said that he's walking. I was like, he's walking. That's good news, man.
You can walk on an ACL. On an ACL injury.
I think
you guys keep joking around with this. If this happens, I will need to put into a mental institute, because I don't think I will ever recover.
Sam Zuba Mendy part 2.
Oh man,
joke. You guys out here laughing at There is a difference when someone says Reece James is having sex with a nurse as a joke versus laughing at someone being injured. There's a difference between...
Actually, I think they've actually moved in together now. I heard.
Yeah, see? There, Andrew playing along. Anyway, Rodri injury, Daud, how does it affect the title race and Arsenal's chances and all that stuff?
I think it is a massive boost to Arsenal. I think the replacement going from Rodri to a Kovacic is a massive downgrade. And I think Kovacic does a good job for a certain period of time, but first he can't stay fit for 15, 20 games in a row. He can't play 15, 20 games in a row. Consistency, I think he hasn't. We've seen it with Chelsea as well. You can ask Chelsea fans as well. Consistency, he's not consistent over 15, 20 games. And I think with Rodri, he has a minimum 8 out of 10 every single game. Minimum 8 out of 10 every single game. And I think he's got that defensive nous where he can stop transition, stop the counter attacks, which I think Kovacic isn't capable of. So if Kovacic is not fit as well, you've got someone like Matheus Nunes. I don't think he's a holding midfielder. You've got Gundogan, which you're going to take a lot away from him if he plays as a holding midfielder instead of a box-to-box midfielder. And I think that position, losing Rodri, is going to be a massive, massive impact on Man City, especially this week coming up because they're playing tonight. Then they've got Newcastle all away 12:30 on a Saturday.
Oh yeah, they're playing Watford today. That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
So they've got a lot of games coming up in a short
Newcastle
time,
stink.
and going away to St James's Park against a team against Man City with no Rodri, that'll be a massive boost to them. And if
you watch Newcastle play, have you watched Newcastle play this season?
Newcastle have been stinky, thankfully. So
they absolutely, that is the most fraudulent 10 points collected in any start of Premier League ever. Those 10
however, I will say Newcastle do turn up against Man City. They do.
They do.
St James Park early kickoff is a trap game.
That is a trap game. That is a trap. 100%. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh trap right there. You have triggered my trap card. 100%. That's a trap.
I was going to say one last thing with the Rodri injury. I think that has changed. I think that now went from Man City being favourites to I think now Arsenal pushing Arsenal's favourites. And I think with the players that we've had injured coming back soon, with Mikel Merino, Odegaard, Tomiyasu coming back. There's a lot of key players coming back from injury. If we can get them fit and ready, I think we could, by the time, I don't think Rodri will be back before the end of the season, but before January, before Man City could buy a holding midfielder, if we can get a 7-8 point lead for the Man City by January before they can sign another midfielder, and I think we should be able to do that. And I think
isn't Odegaard out for 2 months?
No. Arteta said today that he's out for a few more weeks, not months. So he'll be back. I think after international break.
Press conferences. One thing.
Yeah, that could be 8 weeks. That's 2 months. So it's the same. You know what I mean? It's the same.
No.
I can lie.
No,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, but I think with that kind of injury, the way Arteta's been positive about it, he's been very
he has to be positive about it.
No, but
he has to be positive.
Yeah,
when you guys announce your injuries, they're usually out for longer than you first tell us. Do you know what I mean? They're usually out for like. Look at Marino. Marino. It'll be a couple of weeks. He's out for 2 months.
Even Saliba, when he had the back injury, he was like, "Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine." And
he'll be fine. He was out for the season.
Yeah, no, but that's a different context because we were in a situation where we only had 10 games left, and then they didn't want to make the fans panic. They didn't want to make the opposition team think, oh, Saliba's out for the rest of the season. We can actually, mind games are different. I think nowadays managers now don't want to show their who's fit, who's not fit. Like I said today, the journalists were pushing, saying who's fit for tomorrow's night. He basically saying after every answer, you'll find out tomorrow night. He said, we've got a few injuries, but I can't tell you. So I think Arteta loves playing mind games. He wants the Arsenal fans, and especially rival managers, to think, okay, he's going to be back next week. We might need to change our form. We might need to change our lineup. But, we'll see. I think Odegaard will be back after international break. I think I'm confident about that one.
Daud, I know you have to go now. So
yeah.
Thank you for joining us, guys. It's Daud is in the description. Grigs Talks is in the description. Casual FC, L Nobbins. Go subscribe to other channels. Big up. Thank you for joining us, Daud. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, everyone. See you later, guys.
Big up.
Hassan, I have a question for you. I have a question for you because this is related to the title race. Yeah, because you're a Liverpool fan here. Obviously, everyone's going to talk about Arsenal being like potentially title favorites now that Rodri is out and everything. But statistics show that technically you currently have the best defense in the Premier League. You've only conceded 1 goal. You concede the least amount of XG so far this season. You have a squad that has Premier League winners on it when you're in your trio in Salah, Alisson, Trent, all that kind of stuff. Are you going to put yourself in, not honestly say like as a favorite or anything, but would you put your horse in the race now that Rodri's injured?
Anyone else hear Grigs? I think he's lagging out, guys.
I'm running from the expectations. The self-alleged biggest club in England is afraid of title race allegations.
Can you guys hear Grigs? I can't hear Grigs.
Interesting.
What did Grigs say? Sorry, I didn't hear him.
Griggs, haven't you learned by now?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Chelsea have a chance now. Chelsea might win.
Griggs, haven't you learned by Griggs, haven't you learned by now? These guys love being underdogs. They love the underdog story. We're the biggest couple in England, but they love the underdog. They love being Dubois instead of AJ, the favourite going in. That's what they like. Do you know what I mean? They like just the uncertainty knockout like that. That's what
But listen, here's the thing that you need to understand. Okay, this is not boxing to begin with. Second of all, we just had a section discussing Rodri's injury. Forget Mo Salah, Van Dijk, Alisson, and Trent. If I get a Gravenberch or McAllister injury, my season's done, brother. So, yeah. Listen, let's not even go there.
Okay, if Arsenal get a Saliba injury, they're cooked too. So it's like anything.
No, they've got Calafiori, they've got Timber, they've got Ben White. They ain't cooked. Their defensive depth is elite. They ain't getting cooked.
There ain't no Saliba though. There's levels to this. One's the top 2 center back in the world.
I go from Gravenberch to Endo, by the way.
Yeah, okay, and I'm not gonna lie, Saliba to Calafiori. We can gas up Calafiori offensively. Yeah, he scored a nice goal, but let's not forget how City scored their goal. He got twisted up like a California roll and got sent back to Bologna.
I think you just don't have the aura detector because he has that aura. That's the thing that you just don't realize.
He has nice Italian hair. That's what he has. That's literally it's just nice Italian hair. That's what it is, bro. Aura.
Just say you hate pizza. You're Greek. We all understand.
I love pizza. Pizza's my favorite food in the world.
Don't Greeks and Italians dislike each other? I swear that's a thing.
No, Greeks.
Yes, that's a rivalry. Why are you lying to people?
I personally don't. I'm fine with Italy. I love their cuisine.
You have to say that because you're in New York, to be fair. It's like 3/4 Italian anyway. So yeah, I hear it. Listen, we're not winning no league title, man. We're not winning no league title. We are in the.
I'm not saying you can put yourself as like a favorite, but I'm saying, are you gonna put yourself in a potential race?
But I've already put myself in the race from August.
Okay, that's all I want to hear.
We're in the race, but we're gonna fall off in February. February is our fall off.
Anything can happen.
And there's a potential fall off even before in the run. I don't know if you've seen our run.
I've seen your October, November run. I've seen it. That's what I'm saying. But let's say you come out of that run, right? And you're like top of the league, or you're like.
Greg, let me just read it for the people in the back. Chelsea, Leipzig, Arsenal, Brighton, Leverkusen, Aston Villa, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Everton. All of this is happening from October 20.
Is that City game at Etihad or Anfield?
Anfield.
There you go.
Oh, so it makes it easy. Just Anfield. It's only Man City. 4 times.
No Rodri for City.
Hang on a minute.
So he called me a gaslighter, but he wants to gaslight me that it's okay to play Man City. That's not a difficult fixture because Rodri ain't there.
Obviously, it's difficult.
Okay, see, so it's a difficult fixture.
You like the chances a lot more though without Rodri.
In a month and a half, October 20 till December 7th. I could be in big.
I'm not gonna lie. You told me. All you said was Chelsea at home. You're winning that game. Brighton, you're winning that game. Is Madrid at Anfield too?
Yes. What are you gonna say? We're gonna win that game. If you say we're gonna win that game, then I know you're just being fraudulent.
You can win that game.
No.
You can absolutely win that game. Absolutely win that game. You could absolutely win that game.
Andrew, be honest. We're gonna beat Madrid.
Bro, are we acting like Real Madrid are playing like this amazing team?
Madrid in the Champions League.
It's real.
Yeah, but this is Madrid in the Champions League.
Want to gaslight?
Let's not act like they didn't struggle against Stuttgart for like 85 minutes last week.
Yeah, but they still then shit house their way. They still shit house their way.
All right. But Stuttgart are not Liverpool. Like, let's be real.
You remember last time? Do you remember last time Madrid went to Anfield?
Klopp PTSD.
Yeah. Klopp's gone though. Klopp PTSD against Madrid's gone. It's a new.
We literally lost to Nottingham Forest at home, and you're talking to me about Stuttgart and Real Madrid. Please,
you lost on Callum Hudson-Odoi pulling one of the best goals of the season so far and scoring it. That's literally you still.
So why can't that happen with Mbappe? So what? So you're telling me essentially Callum Hudson-Odoi has more ability.
Mbappe scoring a non-penalty goal right now. That's tough right now, bro.
Long.
Just Rodrigo, Vinicius Junior, just them.
Yeah, my striker would never. My striker turns up in big games.
Nobbins, why are you avoiding the question? How do you feel about the Rodri injury?
I've not avoided a question. You didn't ask me a question. I was just listening to you guys chat about it.
Go ahead, dog. I'm tired of Grigs gaslighting me. We ain't winning no league, man.
Well, it's obviously detrimental. He's our most important player. Partly due to his quality, also due to the fact that there is no out-and-out replacement for him. It's not like, when De Bruyne was out for half of last season, it was like, well, we've got Foden, for example. I know they're not the same player, but still very good offensive midfielder or whatever. It's not really the case with Rodri. we do have some good understudies, obviously. Like, I was happy with the short-term signing of Gundogan, but I didn't really think that he would become the main six. I thought that he would just be, every now and then to give Rodri a rest. What I would say is that for the majority of games, it shouldn't be an issue for City. Like the 90% of games, I think that, if you just... we saw it at the start of the season, Kovacic was doing it on his own. So for most games, Kovacic can do it. Gundogan can do it. The question will be, what about the big games, whether it's late in the Champions League or, at Anfield, at the Emirates, against these better sides? How will our midfield cope then? Will we go more reserved and conservative? Like, will we play like a midfield duo with, Nunes and Gundo, or Gundo and Kova, or some combination therein, therefore having no offensive thrust? That will be the question, I think. Again, for the most part, City's players are fine without Rodri against most teams. I don't know if we'll sign anyone in January. I'd like us to. I don't think we will.
Who would you like to sign, by the way? If, let's say...
See, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Well, no, I'm not. I want Bruno Guimaraes. It's never going to happen. I accept that. I appreciate it's never going to happen. This is why I'm conflicted, because I don't know exactly who else I would want. Because what I want is a long-term Gundogan heir. I don't want a 6. I still want a long-term Gundogan heir. So basically, I want whoever we were going to sign in summer 2025, bring that forwards in January. I don't know who that is. Wharton is someone who I quite like the look of as a potential Gundogan long-term replacement. Is that the signing we can do in January? Is that even sensible? I don't know. I haven't thought about it enough, to be honest.
The problem is Crystal Palace will ask for too much money, just like they did with Guehi. That's just the reality of the situation.
My prediction is we won't sign anyone in January, to be honest. And that, well, it depends. I think that if we, let's say for argument's sake, from this point until 1st of Jan, we fall off a cliff and we lose loads of games and we're getting outplayed, I feel like that would demand a reaction in the market. Right, guys, we've clearly got to address this. Alternatively, if we win the games we're expected to win, etc., then we probably don't delve into the market. I'm going to suggest it's the latter. But yeah, it's massive opportunity for Arsenal. If they don't win, I don't know. I don't want to say they've got to win it now, because that's not fair. Because I still expect. They've got
to win it. No, they've got.
As a City fan, I still expect us to win it. To be honest, I'm still putting that pressure on us. But if I am an Arsenal fan, I am raising big question marks if my team's not able to beat a City side which didn't have De Bruyne for half of it and now is not having Rodri for all of it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying there's an expectation. I'm not using it as an excuse. I'll repeat. I still expect my team to win the title. But if I am an Arsenal fan and it doesn't happen, I am asking big questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me read a couple of these super chats before we carry on, Habibis. Big up to Bermuda Gunnar says, FA said no punishment for Haaland hitting Gabriel in the head while he was walking away. If that was the other way around, Gabriel would be suspended.
It wasn't violent conduct, was it? So VAR said if the referee saw it, it's a yellow card, but you can't give a red card for something which isn't violent conduct like that. It was petulant, I'd suggest.
What do you guys do? Andrew, Grigs?
Man, I mean, it is yellow, obviously. The ref didn't see it. It is what it is.
Well, I'm just saying, if Fergie was still around, he probably said he'd kill him, throwing a ball like that to his
head.
He
could have been killed.
He could have been killed. Do you know what I mean?
Could have been killed.
No, I thought it's, I thought it was. It's just one of those things. You know what I mean? It's.
It's petulant. It's childish. It's.
Yeah, I mean, he got lucky. It wasn't. Yeah, he got lucky. If he got booked or anything, then I wouldn't have complained about it, because it's petulant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big up to Ricky, who's threatening us all. He says, big up Hussam, long time. Great to see your channel. Do City scums and Premier League and the fans realize that they're pushing Arsenal into a siege mentality and it can backfire? Are you actually worried about this whole us against the world thing, Nobbins?
I think that there's
I can't lie, Arsenal do have that type of mentality in them, low-key.
No, well, what I was going to say is that I don't think this is a case of. I think football fans have a victim mentality. That's what I want to say. Football fans. I was going to say Arsenal fans, but that's not fair because it's everyone.
That's right.
I do think that lots of people hate Arsenal, sure, but lots of people hate Liverpool, and lots of people still hate United, but lots of people hated them even more when they were good, and lots of people hate City because we're good. I think it's just a football fan thing. I don't think it's a case of one team gets it worse than others human beings love to hate one another and football fans love to hate one another, I think.
Fair. That's a beautiful answer right there. Big up to Nilot Palace says, I know Nobbins is a big Grealish fan, but what's his contribution except for him getting free kicks passed sideways? Don't even take the right back head on. I think City need to move on from him.
Well, my reply to that would be, how did we score the equaliser? Grealish. Grealish literally made the goal happen. That would be my answer to what did he
I can't lie. In that
he
specific game, he did have a massive impact. In the game, he did have a massive impact. Yeah,
of 100%. Course. Yeah, and he's been very good this season.
But why don't think Grealish does more of that? Why doesn't he do more of it? Of like taking a man on, etc., etc., etc.
So this has been my biggest criticism of him, that he does need to be more direct. But thankfully, this season, that's what he has been doing, in fairness. So obviously, there's been, last season, whether due to injury or whatever, he didn't have a particularly good season. I will say when he played, he was all right, but he got injured, so it's a non-point. So maybe that was a conversation that's been had in the summer, because I think this is a make or break season for Grealish in that respect. I think he's got at the end of the season, I think he might have 2 years left on the contract. And you got very exciting young wingers coming through like Doku and Savio and Bob. It's a big season for him, so maybe a conversation being had of, look, you get on the pitch, you need to be making more of a mark on yourself. And again, so far, he's been having, I would say it's early days, but it's on par with his treble winning season so far. I've been very happy with him. And he was the difference maker against Arsenal.
I'll answer Grigs' questions. Our owners are not ambitious enough to win the Premier League. City loses Rodri, they'll buy someone in January, and LFC got Kabak when we were 8 points ahead. It's funny because people are saying like, oh, don't think that Zubimendi saga is over. You might go back in for him in January. And, Mundo Deportivo is reporting that Zubimendi regrets it. You can take that regret, you can shine it real good, and you can shove it up your ass. Because if we don't act on that regret, then it means nothing. Well, so what? Yes, obviously he regrets playing for 15th placed Sociedad instead of Champions League Liverpool competing for a title. Of course he regrets it. But if we don't act on said regret and go and pay the money, then it's just pointless. What is the point of, oh, wow, we feel regret. Wow. And if we don't spend the money, then it's pointless. And that for me is the thing. Our flaws are still there. We still need to sign players that we said we need to sign in the summer, and it is what it is. That's why I believe Arsenal are better than us. It has nothing to do with pressure or any of that stuff. They've already finished above us 2 years in a row, so it's not like I'm making it up. Anyway, big up to all of you guys. Make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you guys are subscribing. Let's get to 300 likes. We're only 20 likes away from 300 likes. There's still 700 people locked in. Big up to all the incredible people who have supported the channel as well. Big up all the super chatters, and we'll give you guys a massive shout out at the end. Big up to all of you, and also all these guys' channels in the description. Final topic, I'm gonna combine them together because I don't want to keep you guys for too long. 2 bald managers, 2 complete different start to the seasons. Eric and Enzo, the good Enzo, not the bad Enzo. I'll let Grigs start first. Talk to me about the draw at Crystal Palace, Ten Hag, your current situation before we go to the fraudulent.
It was good to see us dominate the play for 60 minutes. Feels like it's been 2 years since I said that about United, so that's a good progress from him. It was a really good half. I'm not going to blame him for the first half because if you get 5 big chances in the first half, I expect you to at least convert one of them minimum, and we didn't do that. I didn't like it at first, the braveness of going with the midfield of Eriksen, Mainu, Bruno. I saw his spark away. Considering we lost 4-0 last year, I was like, interesting. But it also confirms to me what I said about Ugarte all summer. I said we don't need Ugarte. I said the manager will not like Ugarte, and I'm being proven right so far because he clearly doesn't like him. The fact that he's playing the corpse of Christian Eriksen over him 3 times in a week over him is evidence enough. But it was really good performance from all of them. Except Bruno Fernandes. He was by far the worst player on the pitch.
Did you just say the corpse of Christian Eriksen?
Yes, Christian Eriksen has been a corpse for the past 2 years, bro. He's literally been Casper the Ghost on the pitch.
Chill.
Oh, it's true. He all out of possession. He's a corpse. He doesn't move out of possession.
Oh yeah, OOP, IP though, IP.
No, in possession, obviously.
Yeah,
in
chill.
obviously, in possession, he's top. Amazing passer and all that kind of stuff. But out of possession, it's true. It's not his fault. He's old. He had obviously that major incident at the Euros and stuff like that.
He literally died on a pitch. Griggs, he died. He's got an arc reactor. He's got a broken arc reactor in his chest.
I made that joke too. Obviously, I didn't mean any. Obviously, it was just like I forgot about that. But, yeah. But shout out Shout out Ericsson though. And yeah, him and Bruno were really good. Bruno was absolutely terrible though. He was so terrible. It's been 5 games now, and he has been the worst player for United on the pitch every single time. Considering he got the wage increase, not the yearly increase. I'm a little bit worried about that. And I said this on my channel over the weekend and multiple ones. I said that the expiry date of Bruno Fernandes at United has really reached here, because I see 2 other players as the creative hubs for the team, and Joshua Zirkzee, who has been absolutely phenomenal so far, and Amad Diallo, who everyone knows how much I rate.
Phenomenal is the stretch, Grigs. Not phenomenal. Phenomenal.
I haven't seen a striker play like that for my club in terms of just linking the play and being a hub since like Martial in 2019, which makes it 5 years ago now. That's a long time. That is half a decade. That is a very long time.
Starved.
Yeah, and the moment. And also, I don't want to be mean to Højlund, but the first touch I see of Højlund is the touch went back 5 yards. I can call Zirkzee.
It won't matter, because what you said about Ericsson will be PG. What you said about Højlund, for Christ's sake, you know what I mean? Just say what you want about Højlund.
But obviously,
listen, let's not get Grigs cancelled. That's not how he meant it. He just meant he's old, didn't it? It is what it is.
I just meant out of position.
I've asked this question over the weekend. One thing that confuses me with Zirkzee is he's good in terms of link-up play, and he does all the stuff that a technical ability footballer does, but he has a bad first touch. That's the thing that it just makes no sense to me.
In the box, his touch is a little bit loose. I'm not gonna lie sometimes, but you could also see what outside the box when he gets his first touch is very clean. So it's just a little bit of sometimes inconsistencies, but he'll be fine. I didn't like Rashford being benched. I'm not gonna lie, because this is what I'm gonna call Ten Hag. How do you, for a span of a year, talk about Marcus Rashford and trying to get him back into form and all that kind of stuff? He'll be back. And right when he's had 2 back-to-back really good games for the first time in over a year, probably since his stretch in 2022, you decide to bench him. That, for me, makes no sense. That, for me, is weird management. And I know, Sam, you mentioned that you blame my forward line, yes, for the first half. But at the end of the day in football, sometimes you don't score chances, right? You said that that happened to you multiple times last year, right? It is then now up to the coach to be able to, especially in the second half when changes have to be made and you have to adapt, to make certain changes to still keep that level of threat that you have, to keep it.
No, it's not, because I kept the same energy for my players. I don't think. But Greg, if factually speaking, Garnacho scores, Bruno scores, Zirkzee scores, 3-0 to Man United in the first half.
Yeah, so but sometimes in football, the ball doesn't go in the back for net for you when you have that many chances. So, but as a coach, it is still your responsibility to be able to change the game. That is what you're the coach for. That's why you're getting paid millions of dollars and stuff like that, to be able to change the game. And when Ten Hag made his substitutions, he changed the game for the worse for us and the positive into Palace, because I don't understand why in quick succession, in a span of 5 minutes, you take off our 3 most creative players in that match, in Christian Eriksen, Amad Diallo, and Joshua Zirkzee, to bring on, first of all, you bring on Marcus Rashford, that's fine. Obviously, Marcus Rashford was needed in that game. You needed a goal scorer. But you put him in the number 9 in a position that he himself has stated that he doesn't really like playing. Yes, he worked against Barnsley. All 4 of us can go against Barnsley right now and score a goal. It's not that difficult. Marcus Rashford is a left winger. That is against Premier League defenses. That is his best position. Why would you put him up top for 10 minutes and take off a player in Joshua Zirkzee who only benefits Marcus Rashford through his link play and stuff like that? That's why Martial and Rashford had such a good connection. So that for me makes no sense. Amad Diallo has been your best creative player. Every single time he's on the pitch, good things happen. Against Liverpool, that game, he had the most touches in Liverpool's box out of every single player, and he played about 20 minutes. He's a threat every single time coming on the pitch. You take him off, and you put Garnacho, who looked knackered, and you take him off. Again, that makes no sense to me. The midfield's fine. You have to take off Christian Eriksen. He can't play 90 minutes 3 times in a week. That's not possible. It's not good for him, because he's clearly now becoming a more important part into the team than I thought he would be, because we were trying to sell him in the summer. So then you brought in Ugarte. That's fine. You needed to make sure, at least if you're not going to win, you can at least defend enough that you don't lose the match and you at least get the point. So that's fine. That's the position I'm not mad at. I'm mad at, though, Ahmad getting taken off and Zirkzee. And for me, that ended up costing us 2 points because we were in complete control. And when you look at the momentum chart, after Zirkzee got substituted, it was all red for United. The moment after that happened, it all became blue for Crystal Palace. So it's small things like that for me with Ten Hag, which I consistently will not. Obviously, he's my manager right now, and I'm going to back him. But it's stuff like that why I don't think he'll be here long term, and why I think at the end of the day, United have a better team. They look better than last year. Obviously, it's not difficult, but they actually look a lot better than I expected. I'm seeing him take risks. I'm seeing us play better in possession. I'm seeing more attacking principles. The inverted fullbacks. Daud is playing much more inverted this year. He's not really out wide as a fullback. Obviously, if he's playing left back, we don't have a left-footed left back right now. So I'm liking the tweaks. But at the end of the day, when you're coaching Manchester United, which is meant to be one of the biggest clubs in the country, if not the biggest, the expectations are different, especially because it's not his first year. If I was seeing this shit in the first year, I'd be calm. It's positive signs. But the matter of the fact is, even though it's year 1 for Ineos, it's year 3 for Ten Hag, and it's 600 million later. And I'm seeing the likes of Arne Slot cook. I'm seeing the likes of Maresca look like he's picking up. He's getting better and better every single week. Obviously, City and Arsenal obviously have 2 of the best coaches in the world and stuff like that. But from a United sort, at the end of the day, we're 5 games in and we're 11th. Yes, we look a lot better, but it's year 3. Performances have to go with results. It's not one or the other. They have to coincide with each other. And right now, they're not. And this Sunday, we have a game against Spurs, which is a 6-pointer. We have to win that. We must win that. I expect nothing less than a win because we have to beat that team because they're also ass. And the week after, we have to go to a team which right now looks like a top 4 team in the Premier League, in Aston Villa, away from home against one of the most stacked squads in the league.
I credit to Aston Villa because they are cooking. They cooking.
Because they have one of the deepest squads in the league. I'm not joking. They have a top 3 deepest squad in the league because they could take off a player and they're bringing on a player that's the similar level of quality, which is credit to their sporting directors and everything like that. So it's going to be also in between that, we have Porto away, which all of us have played Porto in Champions League before and stuff like that. Even those games in Europa, we could all attest to Porto away being a tough test. Maybe except for Sam because he's beating.
No, Liverpool smoked them every time they play. Liverpool smoked them every.
Yeah, maybe 10 years ago. Maybe 10 years ago, Porto was tough away for them.
But, I think they smoke them now.
Hey, 10 years ago we lost to Braga. You don't know the depth of where I was. We lost to Sporting Braga 1-0 in Portugal. It was the worst game of football I've watched in my life.
But typically, Porto away is tough for most teams because they play a nasty mid-block with Cornchal. We saw what Arsenal had to go deal with them last year, right? That how tough it was for them. So
imagine Arsenal going to them this season. What type of game that would be?
that game was that's the nastiest football match of all time. You're gonna see 0 shots on target. It's gonna look like Juve Napoli from the weekend. So yeah, I think United look better, but at the end of the day, it's still not good enough. And if we win the next 2 games, then I can look at Crystal Palace like, okay, it was just a one-off game. We struggled scoring. It happens to us. We still look good, and we kept on those performances. As long as we keep that performance from Saturday consistent for at least 80% of the season, I think we're going to be a lot better than people expect. But Ten Hag has tricked me multiple times. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So
does he last a season, Grigs?
I don't think so. I think.
Okay. Give me the month.
I'm gonna be honest.
That's such a good question. Which month?
I'm thinking December.
Oh, early Christmas present for United.
If Ten Hag is not sacked before New Year's, he's not getting sacked this season.
Oh, okay. So 2024 is the point of no return.
Yeah, pretty much. I think at that point they'll just give him the season because his contract expires anyway because he only got checked about like a year, so they'll just get rid of him and go get someone else.
The Machiavellian me wants him to win another cup, so he just stays there every year. That's all. Yeah.
I expect to win the Europa. That's the crazy thing. I look at the Europa League, and if we play like the way that we play, we probably should win the Europa League because the only team I'm afraid of in that competition, I'm gonna be real, is Bilbao because Spanish teams have caused me pain for the rest of my life. I have PTSD every time I have to visit that country. But I'm not scared of Spurs in Europe. I'm not scared of Spurs.
If he wins that, he takes you into the Champions League, though. If he wins that, he takes you into the Champions League because you'll stay another 2 years or something.
If you win the Conference League, where does that take you, Winter Surfer?
It just means I can brag that I've won everything. I've won everything that's ever been created. Have some shame.
I've won everything in Europe. Like as if Pep couldn't win the Conference League or Klopp. They're never shit.
Let him try. Klopp ran away from the Conference League. Look, he's not even doing anything right now. Ran away. Couldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah. Klopp was running away from the pressure of the Conference League.
That's right.
Big up to you, AMT. Big up to you. And speaking of the Chelsea fan, from one bald fraud to the other, Maresca, is he actually cooking, Winter Surfer?
We're back, baby. Title race is on. I've always believed in Maresca. I've always believed that we should have hired him. No, listen. Why
do you stop as soon as I full screen you?
Well, I don't know. I was going to bite my nail, but it's all good. I'm not going to do that now. But listen, it's going well so far. I do like Maresca that he takes responsibility. Do you know what I mean? If he says he's not going right, or he does it off it, does it off and on the pitch, makes the changes, stuff like that. He challenges players. I did like what he said about Mudryk yesterday. He just basically, Mudryk is just Mudryk. He just said yesterday in a press conference, which basically means he's shit. You know, he just left it like that. But no, we played well. The Sam, I just want to get this out of the way. That was a penalty for me for West Ham on Saturday. I don't care what anyone says. For me, that's a penalty.
You say that. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I just want to get that out of the way because in just case someone says it in the chat, what do you think about it? Was a penalty? That was a penalty for me. If it happened to my team, I'd call it a penalty. I just couldn't believe what freedom that Lopetegui gave us. Like Bournemouth didn't give us that. Bournemouth didn't give us that freedom. I know you beat them 3-0, but Bournemouth didn't give us that freedom. Do you know what I mean? We got a tougher game away at Bournemouth than we did at West Ham. I think West Ham, I don't know what they tried to do. I mean, on a side note, someone saved the West Ham one and Kudus. Get him out of there, bro. Get Kudus out of there. He doesn't belong. He doesn't belong.
Wait, I forgot my manager hates him. Never mind.
Just get him out. Just get him out. But no, we played well on Saturday. Cole Palmer had a quiet game, but got on the score sheet. He had a quiet game. By the way, I think it's time.
You hate and you mock
I don't mock him.
Okay,
I don't have that. I never had the Salah argument. If you start a Salah argument with me, I will walk away. I'm not doing a Salah argument. All right, I'm just not doing it. But no, I think it's time for. I need to see Neto get a few games now. Madueke's died off since Wolves. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question about Neto? It's so weird seeing Neto on the right, isn't it? It's so weird.
Yeah, I do remember. Do you know? I do remember though him playing. You know, before his big injury, his big knee injury that he had. I do remember him playing a few games on the right.
He battered us on the right as well. He battered us.
Yeah, there. I know he can do it, but Madueke sort of burned off now since the Wolves game. So I think we need to try Neto a few games, see how that goes. But yeah, it was just the game management was so good Saturday because it's like we went 2-0 up and we expected West Ham to come back and they didn't do anything. All their shots were right at Sanchez had a lot of shots to save, but he's not man of the match on Saturday. I mean, they were all at him.
Yeah, the Bournemouth game was different. Yeah,
Bournemouth game, no, it's like 2 worlds apart. 2 worlds apart. Saturday, I saw Disassi come on and do a 360 on the pitch. That's how rubbish West Ham were. That second half, we took Palmer and Jackson off on the hour mark or 62 minutes. Do you know what I mean? We took them off. We took our important players off. That second half was after the third goal, Sam. That second half was a training session.
Yeah, that was done.
Absolute train. They are. I think West. I heard that West Ham.
He put Bowen. He put Jared Bowen between two Chelsea centre backs, and he's like, "Let's cross the ball to Bowen." Wow,
bro! It's like the opposite of
because Bowen is really known for his heading ability. He's really known.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when they had Antonio on the bench, they had Antonio on the bench. If you're going to do those tactics, bring Antonio on. That's why I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand it. I thought West Ham would be up for this.
Not yet.
It's a London derby. Caicedo, listen, I don't. That's an opinion, but Caicedo, he was just a beast on Saturday. He was just mop. It was just they couldn't do anything.
I think Caicedo is your best midfielder, and I think he is one of the. But on form,
one of the.
Not this season. I'm sorry.
It's Ryan Gravenberch. Yeah, it's Ryan.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But
Caicedo
Caicedo
hasn't had a single bad game yet, as well.
That's true.
Even the game that we lost to Forest 1-0 at home, I gave him praise because he's the only good player that game.
I mean, Saturday was just ridiculous. I was seeing guys playing head tennis in the first half. That's how much West Ham were not pressuring. I saw Cucurella and Tosin playing head tennis. It was ridiculous to some. It was like I think we would get harder games in the Conference League. I think Barrow might give us a harder game. With all our changes. West Ham won the transfer. He put the. Why am I seeing Mavropanos still playing in the Premier League when Tadebo's on the bench?
With Tadebo on the bench.
I know. Sorry, Grigs.
Don't do the Greek thing compared to Tadebo. Come on, now.
You don't claim him. So don't even try that. No, but we made. I know West Ham.
United, you fraud.
I sent Lenny Euro. I'm chilling. Don't worry.
I know West Ham didn't play well, but we just made them not play well. It was just a very comfortable game. It was, and
yeah, but we can say, but I'm glad you're saying this because it's both sides. Yes, Chelsea were amazing, but West Ham were shit as well. Like
your next game is
playing
Brighton,
their
right?
hands though as well. Like Chelsea wants a counter-attack. They've got great transitional players. West Ham were like, "Here, have all this space, exploit it." I thought it was borderline disrespectful from West Ham, to be honest.
Yeah,
like
I think they're we've played Servette twice in the Conference League. I think West Ham are the worst team we've played this season. I think they're the worst team we've played this season. I'm not even. No, Wolves first half. They took the game to us. It was 2-2. At least they had a half. But these guys didn't even have like a 10-minute patch. We gave them the ball. Our intensity after the second goal just dropped 90% because these guys didn't want to do anything. It's a London derby. That stadium was so quiet. It was so quiet. We honestly easy game. Now we've got 4 games at home. Got Brighton.
I have a
next.
question about that, by the way. I have a question about that. Are you more confident now that you're going at home? Because it looks like every time you go home, you guys suck. But when you go away,
this is true.
Yeah. But there should be, hopefully now, because we've won a few games in a row, that, well, I say hopefully, there's idiots at that stadium, so
the atmosphere is better, right?
Yeah, but hopefully now it's like, no one's talking about...
Yeah, Chelsea fans aren't used to this, Grigs. They aren't a pass left, pass right fan base. They really aren't.
No, they're not. They're not.
No, what I'm saying is, though, like, it generally feels like, for Chelsea home games this season, it feels like they're playing as in the away team. And I'm not saying like as the other team has more fans. I just feel like the home match-going fans are against their own team at the moment.
But hopefully now it's like,
that's not a good thing.
hopefully now after this performance, we'll see tonight. There'll be a lot of changes. I don't expect it to be the crowd will be sold out, even though the tickets will be cheaper. But we'll see on Saturday what it's like. Especially if we score like the first goal or something like that. And I just hope I don't hear frigging Gallagher's name being sung out for the 4th or 5th game in a row when he's not even here. But and even the stories of the so-called ownership civil war, there's been nothing for like nearly 10 days.
Hey, easy there, don't tempt it.
I know, but what I'm saying is that dropped obviously during the international break. Nothing's been said since. I just think that we're playing well. We just got 4 games in a row now. Sign off with 4 wins before the international break. Before you read out your run, Sam. I know it includes us, but we've got like a dodgy run as well. I think in October, November as well. So it's like,
but everyone's dodgy for your crap, innit? So it's different levels for this game.
This guy, man.
When's the
Like Liverpool are in a title race, Chelsea are in a top 4 race. You can
that title race. You're
fucking Spurs. Get a grip.
Oh, now you're confident about Liverpool in a title race. But when I asked you,
now it is.
Everyone knows. I've already said Liverpool are going to get scared. We're going to fall off in February. That's what I've said.
Oh, what a title race with 3 months.
All I had to do was bring up Chelsea when I asked Sam the question, and he would have gone, "Oh, Liverpool's the biggest football club in the world to me." But when I just ask about Liverpool and no one else, it's all quiet and interesting.
I wasn't quiet. I answered, Habibi. I answered.
No, you said, do you guys hear anything? Is Griggs on mute? Do you guys hear anything? Is Griggs
but you were lagging out.
I did hear him say that, to be fair. I was here for that.
Yeah, why do you think I'm lying? What if you really were lagging out? Why
your lips are moving? That's why I know you're lying.
Everyone else heard me loud and clear.
Okay, maybe then my StreamYard lagged out. You never know. StreamYard.
Oh, what? Yeah. Just it's out of sync. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Andrew, for being honest. Sometimes it's out of sync. Anyway, let me read this. Let me read the super chat before we wrap up. Big up to MT, who says Lopetegui at Real Madrid is a short-lived mess. Let's see how bad he is. I still remember till this day when I made my predictions video and I was doing West Ham. I think I put West Ham like 11th, I think, or 12th or 10th. I'm like, yo, guys, they actually have really good ingredients, but they gave it to the worst possible chef. And that for me is the problem. And it's just, you could just tell that he's kind of clueless about what he actually needs to do with West Ham, because you look at Lopetegui, like it's not like he's managed like Sevilla or Villarreal or a club like that in the past. Blah, blah, blah. Like he did. He managed.
He won the Europa League
and Valencia. Yeah. No, he did manage Valencia. Yeah. Yes,
probably.
Bro, he literally managed
Valencia. I know he managed Wolves. He's managed obviously Sevilla.
You don't even need to look at Spain. Look what he did at Wolves. Well, Gary Neal stepped in and made Wolves better.
I told West Ham this from 18 months ago. I said, if you're going to move on from David Moyes, go with Michael Carrick. Former player of the club. English.
Oh my God, you'll never remember, think who he managed. Porto. He managed Porto. That was the club I was thinking about.
He looks like a Porto manager.
When did he manage Porto?
Did he win the league with Porto?
Was before
Oh my God, he didn't even win the league with Porto. That's crazy. You know, you didn't even win the league.
Yeah, because I think Benfica at that time had like the likes of Jonas and shit, and they're like kind of doing good. Luisao.
He managed Spain as well.
Yeah, he did.
No.
He was meant to manage the 20. He was meant to manage the 2018 World Cup, and then he took the Real Madrid job while a week before the World Cup, and Spain told him get the hell out of here. And they
This is true. Anyway, big up to you, AMT. Listen, big up to AMT, big up to Nilat Pal, big up to Bermuda Gunnar, big up to Ricky, Jason, the Queen of Boston, Rohan, Jack, and Hamad for the super chats. Big up everyone who has supported this channel. This stream is gonna take you to MHF, where myself and Footy Judge Mo are live to talk for a little bit, 40 minutes. You know, just before the Chelsea game, just kind of have a nice little.
Are you gonna talk about the Milan derby? Because I heard Mo.
We can if you want. We can.
You should.
I'm doing a Chelsea Barrow watch along later on. You know.
Leave us alone. Why do you watch it?
Because it was either that or bloody City Watford. Okay.
You don't want to watch Pep Guardiola versus Tom cleverly managed.
Yeah, the mighty Watford.
That's mad. That's mad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The Hornets.
That's what I'm saying. It's either I had a choice. Okay, it's not like we had a good game on today. It was either shit or shit, but I chose the less stinky shit.
No, Watford are like 6th in the championship. What's wrong? Oh, that's a good.
Grigs, who's more enjoyable to watch, Chelsea or City?
Oh yeah, I don't know what City teams look like. It might be fun.
Don't do that. Who's more enjoyable to watch? Be honest. Enjoyment.
Hey, Mudrik's probably going to start as well.
Between both teams, Savio is the one that's moving the most, and I like watching Haaland score goals. Sometimes.
Yeah, big up Savio.
Haaland's not playing against Watford.
This is going to be a fraud. Guys, it's not a Chelsea hate along, it's Barrow. You're obviously going to win 4-0.
You know what? Because I hate Chelsea ever since Jadon Sancho went there, and I've had to hear gaslighting sessions about Jadon Sancho for the past 2 weeks, even though he's done nothing of importance that's anything crazy. So you know what? I don't find Chelsea enjoyable.
Let's
2 assists in 2 games.
Fair enough. I respect it. Greg Stocks, L Nobbins, Casual FC, and Daud. It's Daud is in the description. Go subscribe. This stream is going to take you to MHF. I'm going to see you guys on the other side. Love you all, and peace.
Subscribe.